Hey everyone, in today's video I'll be going over the best magic build you can use. This setup literally covers everything from ranged attacks to close range attacks and even having crazy protection. So you can change up your playstyle so drastically and be ridiculously strong without swapping out any gear or items. Don't forget to subscribe for more weekly content. I also have a Discord setup for anyone looking for more people to play with. The link to that and other Elden Ring related videos will be in the description down below. Alright guys, let's start the build off with all of our close range weapons before I get into the staff and magic spells. With the close range weapon, I'm going with the Clayman's Harpoon. The stat requirements are pretty low for it and it barely weighs anything, which is going to be really important for this build. With its Ash of War, you'll definitely want to use the Glintstone Pebble with the magic variation. It's so stupidly strong, I literally can't stress it enough. Like, I can hit for almost 2000 damage with it only costing 12 mana. And the best part about it is once you land a glintstone shot, your targets become staggered, so the second attack is guaranteed to hit. It's kinda like a small combo. And since this build is heavily magic focused, I'm also using the Magic Scorpion Charm. It just increases all kinds of magic damage by 12%, and that includes the spear as well because we are using the magic variation for it. Now, one problem I've noticed with a lot of magic builds is you're extremely weak, like you die within just a few hits from most enemies. So I found a way to counter this, and for that, you're gonna need the Fingerprint Shield. This thing is literally a huge brick, being the strongest shield in the game, blocking 100% of physical attacks, really good elemental protection, and having the highest guard boost of 90. It also pairs extremely well with the spear because you can block while attacking enemies at the same time. But the shield isn't foolproof just yet because you do lose a very little bit of stamina when blocking attacks. And if you're also attacking at the same time, it'll eat away at your stamina even faster. So to get around this minor inconvenience, I'm using the Scholar's Shield spell. It's basically just a spell that upgrades your shield, making it even stronger, and it lasts for 60 seconds. But when you use it with this shield, you lose absolutely no stamina at all when blocking physical attacks. It's like the Ash of War Barricade, but instead of only lasting for 6 seconds, this lasts for a whole minute. So this is perfect for dealing with strong enemies up close. You just poke them down and look for openings to use the Glintstone Pebble to end the fight even faster. And for its Ash of War, you'll want to use no skill with the standard variation, just so you can keep your shield up and use the Glintstone Pebble Ash of War. On top of this, the shield is a huge heavy brick, and we still have to go over the staff and armor to use, so you'll definitely want to have the Greatjar's Arsenal equipped, because we're going to be spending a lot of points in strength, intelligence, and mind for this setup to work, so there's not going to be a lot of space to put points into endurance. Now we can move on to the staff and spells. So for that, I'm using the Academy Glintstone Staff. It's the best staff we can use with the levels we have. Once you get around 70 to 80 intelligence, you'll want to switch to the Lusat staff for more damage, but it does cost 50% more mana. Just something to keep in mind. For the spells, we have a total of 5 to use, the first one being Glintstone Arc. The mana cost is really low on it, so it's not going to be a crazy strong spell. However, it makes up for it with its wide area of effect, so it's going to be really handy for taking down large groups of weaker enemies so you don't get swarmed. For the tougher enemies though, you'll want to use Comet. It's basically a Glintstone Pebble on steroids, but you can charge it up to deal even more damage, since you want to take down stronger enemies before they get close. But even if they do get close, they won't get past our brick shield and spear. Now the next spell is similar to Comet, but a bit different, and that being Loretta's Great Bow. It takes more time to charge up, costs a tiny bit more mana, and deals similar damage. You're probably thinking, then what's the point of this spell? The difference between the two is this thing has some ridiculous range, like sniper level range. So we're going to use it for that exact reason, to pick off or chip away at enemies' health from a distance. I see a lot of people saying this spell sucks, but I think they just don't know how to use it properly. Like, it's not the one and all spell, but it has its use. Because you can charge up both of these spells for extra damage, I'm also using Godfrey's Icon, which increases the damage of charge attacks by 15%, making these hit a lot harder. And finally, we have the last spell, Azur's Comet, the most destructive and hardest hitting spell in the game. It's just a full-on laser beam, And this is going to be used more for boss fights because it does eat up a lot of mana when you use it. So for that, I'm also using the Primal Glintstone Blade and the Glintstone Scarab. The Primal Glintstone Blade makes spells cost 25% less, but reduces our max health by 15%. And the Glintstone Scarab reduces spell costs by another 15%, but also makes us take increased damage as well. Again, this sounds like it makes your character really weak, but as long as you stay behind your shield when enemies get close, they won't be able to do a thing to you. Another trick you can do to help out with this is drink the Flask of Wondrous Physic with the Cerulean tier to cancel all mana consumption for 15 seconds. And the other tier is the Magic Shrouding tier, increasing all of our magic damage by 20% for 3 minutes. While I'm talking about increasing damage, we have one last final thing to mention for that, and that's the armor. With the chest, gloves, and legs, I'm going with the Spellblades attire that increases our magic damage by 2% for each piece. So we get an extra 6% damage buff out of all of this. Very little, but every little bit helps. Alright, now for the minimum stats required. You'll need at least 20 endurance, 48 strength, 10 dex, and 60 intelligence to match my build. Afterwards, I would recommend splitting your stats into mind, intelligence, and vigor to make your character all around stronger. I'm also going to put links in the description down below for all the gear I'm using if you want to see more information on them and where you can find them for yourselves. That's everything for today's video. I'd like to give a big thanks to the members of my channel for supporting me on my videos and the future ones to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.